Welcome back to A Little Bit of Cheese, your bite-sized Wisconsin sports podcast. I'm your host, Cody Depius. That is Sam Douglas, my counterpart. It's an exciting Friday. We are back in the midst of a baseball season. I do want to complain with the fact that we had an opening day. We get all excited, and then we get blue-balled today with no Brewers baseball. But all in all, big victory yesterday for the boys. 14-2, the final against the Chicago White Sox. First batter of the game for the White Sox, Chase Mydroth, went yard on Jacob Misiorowski, but that would be all. He ended up going 5 innings, not allowing another run, just one more hit in that time, but 11 strikeouts, hence my Zoom name. And I just said it to Sam off the air right before we got on. How has nobody come up with swinging a Miz yet? Because holy cow, setting records on day one of 2026.
A lot of swings, a lot of misses.
Mm-hmm.
All in all, I think the that first home run that was given up, probably a good thing. I don't know. It's hard to say that giving up the first hitter of the Brewers season home run is a good thing. And objectively speaking, it's frankly not. But an opportunity to
on that, I just would like to always point out the Major League Bob Uecker or Doyle, Harry Doyle, when he says, "You always want to say that the first batter of the season will tell how your tail's going to go." and then it's a ground ball by Willie Mays Hayes that he beats out like just a squibbler. And yeah, so I always think of that quote every time it's the first batter of the season. And the first batter this season, Miz gives up a bomb.
And I think the setup on it was important for his mental as well, because it got worked to a full count. So he was sitting on a full count. I think Miz was ahead in the count 1-2, threw a couple balls, had one chipped away, and then you're sitting at a full count. It's the first batter. You don't really want to be burning 10 pitches. You don't want to be burning 6 pitches on the first batter of the game. So it was just the most obvious. And his first throw of the season was 101. It was just the most obvious 98 down the middle throw that any batter would see all season. What's his name? Mydroth. Am I pronouncing it? Mydroth?
Mydroth, yeah.
Mydroth. He had to be sitting there knowing exactly what was coming. This is Jacob Miz. He wants to get his feet going. He just needs to see a strike go through the plate. He's going to take a couple miles an hour off of it, and I'm going to get on top of it, and this ball is going to fly. I'm sitting on my couch. Cody, I never played college ball. I didn't play much high school ball. I could have told you that it was a fastball coming down the middle of the plate. Sure enough, it was, and that ball got sent. But that's what you can't do at all. He didn't throw a single curveball in that first batter. Once you're really playing the game, you can't have these pitches when I know exactly it's going to be 98 down the middle of the plate. So the next batter, he threw a curveball, started keeping them on their toes. When you're in that full count, you got to be able to have a slider to go to, or something to throw in the zone. I think it was just because it was the first batter of the season. Everybody knew what was going on. Everyone knew Miz needed to see a strike go down the middle of the plate. And it helped him lock in. And even so it helped him lock in. Obviously, like you said, 5 innings, 11 strikeouts. Math-wise, there's 15 outs in 5 innings, so that is all but 4 outs came with Miz punching dudes out, which is just a beautiful thing. So it helped him lock in, and you got to think it helped the offense a little bit. I think the bats were going to show up yesterday no matter what, but when you see your day one pitcher, when you see your Jacob Misiorowski or the future of your starting pitching staff get rocked on that first at bat, I think the guys got a little excited to go put some runs up for him.
Yeah, they did. And they really, really laid it on. I mean, you get to the point. I listened to most of the game on the radio, but here's the box score after that first inning. It was 1-0 Chicago going into the bottom of the second. And then Milwaukee then proceeds to put up a 4-spot, 0, 2, 2, 3, 3, and then 0 in the 9th. So it was not just one big snowball inning. They had to produce and go in with a clean inning multiple times, and they went out there and continued to get it done. And I'll just go through a couple of the numbers here because, of course, he scored 14 runs. You gotta kind of glaze over it. But Bryce Terang, 2 for 4, a walk. William Contreras, who I don't know if you listened to the post-game press conference,
I didn't.
But Jacob Misiorowski just calls him Bill. And it is the funniest thing ever. He said, "Yeah, Bill was all fired up today," and I never look at William Contreras, which now I am a fan of that new hairstyle. It's a little funky. I wasn't expecting it, but I do think it's pretty cool. But I've never thought of him as a Bill, but I will from now on. I've known him as Wild Bill, but now he's just Bill, as cited by Jacob Mizorowski. But he had a good day. A couple of walks in there too. Yelich, 2 for 4. Andrew Vaughn, 1 for 4. He had an RBI. Lockridge was in there. Oh, what's that? A 0 for 1, but he scored a couple runs. Bowers had a home run. He was 2 for 5. Frelick had a home run, 2 RBIs, 2 walks. David Hamilton, 1 for 2, scored a couple runs. It was just an all-around day for everybody. But, of course, and who I texted you about yesterday, is Joey Ortiz the best hitter in all of baseball? At one point, maybe yesterday. He had the first couple RBIs of the season for Milwaukee, and I don't know, just look comfortable. Not that they faced any pitching. Let's not go out and act like Milwaukee did something that was completely surprising yesterday. Shane Smith, yes, he made the All-Star game last year, but that was kind of by default because Chicago needed to send somebody to the All-Star game, and nobody else had remotely close to a case to it, so Shane Smith got to go. But Milwaukee took him out early in the second and then just kept things going afterwards. The bullpen looked great. Aaron Ashby looked unhittable. Grant Anderson was great. Woodruff, Jake Wood, is it Woodruff or
Woodford? Woodford.
Excuse me.
Just came over from Minnesota?
Yeah, they just picked him up like yesterday morning, I think. I didn't even know he was on the roster until I saw he was on the mound. And I was like, wait, who's this guy? He had a rough year last year. And he did give up a home run to Murakami, I believe, is the new White Sox first baseman. I'm sorry, we're getting used to all the new names. Yes, Munetaka Murakami. I think he's gonna have a couple of home runs this year. He's like the Japanese Babe Ruth. I think he had 24 home runs in 66 games last year because he got hurt. So he said, "Yeah, I'll go try my luck in the States." And he's on pace for 162 this year. But overall, are there any players that maybe you saw little surprises out of where you think, oh, I think this guy might be a guy this year? Kind of like one of those hidden gems that they seem to find every season.
We're so going to get into David Hamilton soon, but before we get there, I got to shout out Joey Ortiz, man. I mean, the rest of this Brewers team, we know are woodpeckers. We saw it all last year. It's no shock to us that we're going to put pressure on the bases and put pressure on pitchers, and if you're a bad team, you might just lose 14-2. But Joey Ortiz, how about his first at-bat being 1 out, bases loaded? He was the man who did it more than anybody in baseball last year, and he botched it more than anybody ever could have imagined. And it was off the handle of his bat. It was a sneaky little cheeky pop up between left field and third base, but it dropped. He got his RBIs, and he had another shot a little bit later. Runners on, I think it was second and third. It was another bases loaded situation. He had another shot where he came through there as well. And then his 1 out on the day, he got a hold of it. It was on the fence. He put a ball on the warning track dead center for his last at bat, and that was the only out that he recorded before Rengifo came in and took his spot, which I really liked that move from Murph. That was the other bases load. I'm not sure if Ortiz ended up getting another bases load opportunity, but he was due up with the bases loaded, and Murph brought in Rengifo to come take his spot, which I think was an awesome move from Pat Murphy. You're the new guy. We have expectations for you. It's a no-pressure situation because we were up 7, 8, 9 at the time, but you're going to be asked to hit when you might not be ready for it. It might be a big moment. We saw Bowers do that for us last year. He was the only guy that could hit in the Dodgers season for us. We saw all the guys off the bench. Monasterio had his moment. So if you're going to be on the Brewers bench, you got to be ready to hit in a big moment. That being said, let's talk a little David Hamilton, because you said it as soon as we hopped on Zoom. He looks like a ball player. I knew nothing about him. I'm going to be honest. I kind of held off doing my research because I wanted to just watch and see what I thought about him. he's quick. He beat out an infield. He beat out an infield hit. That's awesome. He's fast. He made a couple good plays. He had one real good snag with his glove in the field. He wasn't tested too much in the field. A couple walks. Looks like he's got a good eye behind the plate. Better than the ump had that day.
Yeah.
There's a couple tough calls from the ump that they were liberally challenging. The White Sox catcher was on his game as far as the challenges. Made the ump look bad a couple times. So I think ABS is going to be good for the sport. But no, Hamilton did everything you want to see from a Brewers player. Beat out an infield hit, took a couple walks. Looks like he's got a good eye. I don't think he's going to be a 20 home run guy.
No.
But he's going to. This is a Brewer. I feel really good about Hamilton.
Good defense. He's twitched up. He's versatile. He's got a good arm. You saw it a little bit at shortstop yesterday. He can move around the infield. I think he can play outfield as well. He's one of those super utility guys. You have all the speed in the world right there. I think he's a top, like, 5th percentile when you look at it. And contact was a problem last year. Had a 198 batting average with Boston. They were very ready to ship him off, I believe, kind of a throw-in the trade there when Caleb Durbin was sent over to Boston. But one thing I don't think we've talked about on the podcast yet is he is the quantum leap candidate from Pat Murphy this year. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but Bryce Terang did not come on guns a-blazing onto the big league scene. He had a rough rookie year. Well, Pat Murphy said he is going to take a quantum leap this year. So ever since then, Bryce Terang, we have seen him take quite a few quantum leaps, it looks like now, probably a top 20 player in all of baseball. But David Hamilton is that next candidate. And if Murph likes you, I think the guys are going to like you too. And I think I like David Hamilton to this point. I think he's going to be a piece. That third base job is going to be open. You're going to have opportunities for both Renhefo, who is a switch hitter. Defensively, not going to be as talented or as gifted as Hamilton. Not quite as fast, but you've seen more offensive production from him at the big league level before. He had a 300 batting average just a couple of years ago, did Renhefo. So there are tools that Brewers can utilize at that standpoint as well. But you got two guys that are going to be able to compete for that. You get a little bit of versatility where you could put Hamilton at shortstop if you don't want to play Terang. You can move some guys around. Well, not Terang, but Ortiz, excuse me. But he can play second if Terang needs an off day as well. So the guys are there. The bullpen's there. I do want to talk a little bit. Not Joey Ortiz, excuse me. Jackson.
We can talk Joey Ortiz. I love me some Joey Ortiz.
Let's keep saying everybody on the Brewers is now Joey Ortiz, just for Sam's sake. And it's Joey Ortiz up to the plate. But Jackson Churio, the morning of opening day, was put on the 10-day IL. So he did get hit by a pitch in the World Baseball Classic. He continued to play through that, where, of course, Team Venezuela won it all. Turns out he fractured his hand on that. And now he's going to the IL. He's going to miss 2 to 4 weeks. Do you have any opinions on how this should have been handled either by Team Venezuela or Jackson Churio or the Brewers?
I have no qualms. I have no qualms. I think this is just doing business. I mean, he got hit by a pitch. That's part of life. I would expect him to continue playing for Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic if he's got a hand that's kind of smarting him a little bit. I think he would have known if it was serious. If it was some hamstring issues, I think I'd be taking it a little bit more seriously. That being said, a hairline fracture in a hand, take your time, heal it up, get back out here. We got plenty of outfielders. We got plenty of guys that got to get some reps on this team. Jackson Churio, when he's playing with us, he's going to be an everyday starter. He's face the franchise, for the next 5, hopefully 10 years. So I think we're going to see plenty of Jackson Churio, and I hope his hand it heals well.
Yeah. It's going to be difficult for a lot of us American MLB fans to conceptualize this, but the World Baseball Classic is that much bigger to the guys that play, especially in those Central American countries like Venezuela. It means that much more than even a World Series would to them, because that's something you take back home with the guys that you grew up with and come from your homeland, which our homeland here is really big, where it's not quite as close-knit of a family, Team USA, as opposed to a Team Venezuela. You saw how they all revered a Salvador Perez. There's not a single guy on Team USA that you're going to see guys rally around like they rally around Sal Perez. or like you would see even from the Dominican team when Yadier Molina played on that team. Actually, Puerto Rico, excuse me. But it means that much more to those guys, and I understand it from that standpoint. There is no way that Jackson Chourio is going to be taken out of those games for a hairline fracture. If he can play, he was going to play for that. That was bigger than the World Series for those guys, and it was bigger than the World Series for Jackson Chourio in that moment. So I get it. I understand it. They took it home too. I mean, I guess that can make us feel a little bit better. Like, hey, at least you went and got the job done that you were looking to go get done. Like, if he would have lost it, maybe I'm just like, what? You did that for nothing? But I mean, it's all worth it. It's 2 to 4 weeks, which in a baseball season really doesn't mean all that much, especially when your team is fully healthy at this point. Like, it would hurt a lot more if we were deeper into the season. You're already dealing with injuries in the outfield, but you were just able to call up Blake Perkins, who we were all surprised was down in AAA anyway. So Perkins makes the opening day roster because of it, and everything's going to be just fine. I would love to see 162 out of Jackson Chourio, but first couple seasons in, it looks like he's more of a 130 game kind of guy. And you know what? If we keep getting 130, I'll continue to be happy with that.
And I would much rather him be healthy for games 163, 164, 165 than games 1, 2, 3. I think that's the focus. And I'm going to have a similar take when beginning of the season Packers roll around. If Micah doesn't play the first handful of weeks of the season, I'm all for it. I think that's totally fine. I want our guys to be healthy when it matters. Played most of the season, put out a good product. I want to see Micah on the field. I want to see Jackson Chourio hitting for the Brewers. But long term, this same reason. Take Miz out after 5 innings. Take him if we're flying, if we've got a lead, take Miz out. Get him out of the game. I enjoyed watching the show. Keep his pitch count low because I want to see a whole lot of Jacob Mizorowski. I went whitewater rafting a couple years ago, Cody, and had a really good time. It was 10 days out in Utah, Colorado, Wyoming area, and the thing that one of the guides said to us, as far as safety goes, rafting is really fun today. It's going to be more fun tomorrow. Be safe out there.
Yeah.
And I that's how I think about these guys. You get your hand right because we got a really fun season to have.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, this early, just you're okay with it? Like the Micah Parsons idea there as well. And I'm really uber excited about this Brewers team. Jacob Mizorowski, I would like to make the point. I think you saw him pitch yesterday, not necessarily throw. And he said that kind of in his post-game press conference as well. He said, I'm not trying to hit 104 right now. He's got a lot more bullets to use this season. So I'm just going to try to find my way with 98, 99, which if you could go into the start of a season, I think there are a lot of pitchers that would take a 98, 99 mile an hour cruise speed. Well, Jacob Mizorowski has that luxury, and he's going to use that. But when it gets deep into it, when you get into the hot days, or maybe even later into the playoffs, maybe you see a 103. But I'm okay not seeing it until then. Or maybe if he starts throwing a perfect game and we're talking in the 9th inning and he needs to use that 103, then I'm okay with it. But I like to see the maturity. You can tell that they've really worked with him in the offseason too. And like you said, there's a positive reaction that we saw out there after he gave up that initial home run, after Chris Hook had to give him a mound visit in the 2nd inning. Like, he continued to stay headstrong and work through it. And this is a guy, like, towards the second half of last year, there were some question marks about, is he going to continue to handle this heat when things go wrong? Do they continue to snowball for him mentally, or is he able to bounce back? You're seeing more and more of him being able to bounce back, and a lot of that just takes a little bit of time, especially at the big league level. And you're seeing a kid, I hope, take major strides in that direction. And when he does that and reaches that final product, it's going to be scary. And I think we're getting closer to that.
Can we just overreact? Is he a top 10? After watching yesterday and knowing what juice he's got, is this a top 10 pitcher in baseball right now?
You could talk about it. I mean, top 10 stuff, absolutely. I want to see more innings, honestly. And if you watch the Brewers 30 days and 30 clubs in 30 days by MLB Network, they talked with him and they had him on there and they asked how many innings he's going to throw this year. And I think he said 250. Well, He's a little bit behind pace if that's going to be the goal for Mizorowski. He has high goals, which I like to hear as well.
Mhm.
But I would love to see more innings to be able to say that. And in all honesty, Paul Skeens doesn't pitch a lot of innings either, but if he can do it to a 1.97 ERA, I guess that's fine. So if Mizorowski could do it consistently to a 1.97 ERA, I'd say absolutely. But got to see a little bit more of that. I think there's the potential for that, and I'll put it that way. But continued health, deeper into games, keep it going. Just going to ride the train and hope that we don't fall off the tracks here. But I'm feeling a lot more comfortable after what I saw yesterday.
The guy looks awesome. Guy looks so good. He's going to be a stud for a little bit, health considered. And he had a couple stumbles on the mound yesterday, which I thought was interesting. I mean, he's always been a little bit, lanky and clunky and, unsure in his baby deer body. But at some point, if you're stumbling on the mound, that's got to be a little concerning, right?
I mean, he did it all last year, too.
Yeah.
He had all those ankle issues. I mean, I would love to watch him stop it. I mean, I've personally gotten to the point where I can't sprain my ankle anymore because I've stretched those tendons out so far. And it wouldn't surprise me if he's at that point where he could look like he rolled his ankle, but his ankle's just fine because it's already done that a million times. So whatever. I mean, I know they're working on it, and it doesn't look like it's working, but they're still throwing him out there. So it's not too big of an issue in their minds, and I'll try to keep it out of mine. But yeah, I don't like seeing your star pitcher, your opening day starter, just look clumsy, especially with his delivery. And that's what he's paid to do, is just a 3-second movement. That's all that he's paid to do, is just that 3-second movement. Like, let's perfect that where we're not stumbling off the mound. But it's he struggles
I think
with.
The stuff that he has is the same reason that first home run was able to be a sure thing home run, is the reason why he's so freaking dangerous. Because when you got a Jacob Mizorowski, and we talked about this last year, when he's releasing closer to the plate, like the extension that he gets from the rubber is you don't see that very much, first of all, and then it's coming at 100 miles an hour. You have to sit fastball. So he will give up some home runs. He just has to be smart about letting those few times when he knows a hitter is sitting fastball and he's throwing fastball, nobody on base. You can be situational when a heater's coming. Well, hit this 102. Have fun with that. But guys are going to be sitting fastball in certain circumstances. When you're 10 pitches deep in an at-bat, he's been fouling away a couple curveballs, and Miz wants to get out. It's coming 99 down the middle. Guys have to sit and wait for that. And that's why his curveball and his changeup can be, and his slider can just be filthy. Because once he realizes when these dudes are sitting fastball on him, I think we're going to see more guys swing out of their shoes, lose their helmets. That we saw one awesome one. What was it, Arias last year? We saw it happen a couple of times last year. But I think that's going to be the balance that he has to figure out this season is know when guys are sitting fastball. And that's why I thought that first home run could have been a good thing, because it helped him lock in a little bit. Oh, you know what? He also knew I was I was doing that there. And
Can't do that.
Exactly. Once he reads it and a little bit of experience on that, I think the stuff is it's going to shine.
Yeah, I think so. Just keep him healthy. That's the main goal. Chad Patrick will go tomorrow for Milwaukee, but start to hopefully.
What's up with this off day today? Is that how this isn't typically how they run opening day, is it?
No, I don't know the reasoning. I'm not part of the MLB marketing team. I would have certainly some questions for them if you could bring me to that room. So if anyone listening to this has any connections, you guys probably know my text message because you're probably all my friends. But I have no idea why. It's never been this case. I guess I'm a little bit happier that the actual first major league game of the year isn't taking place in Japan like 2 weeks ahead of the season like they've done the last couple of seasons, which that was just weird. I'm okay with like the opening night and that being Yankees Giants, like two historic franchises. That's cool. I mean, it's kind of like the NFL where they'd open it up with just one game. Hey, everyone, let's collectively come together and just watch one baseball game before we all go our separate ways for 162. That's fine by me. That's cool. You had your traditional opening day, but why not just carry it into the season? Why not just have that opening night be Thursday, have opening day be Friday when everybody is hopefully getting off of work at noon, or maybe they're just dinking around on a Friday like most of corporate America does, and they watch baseball. That would be awesome, and then you just carry it in, and you don't have this goofy schedule of a Friday where I got to sit here and cook brats and not have baseball on. That stinks to me. So
got all the
Dr.
momentum
Pepper
in the world.
brats, trying them out today, though. I don't know if you guys saw it. The gas station, they had to buy 2 12-packs of Dr. Pepper, and you get a free 6-pack of Dr. Pepper brats from Johnsonville. So I'll come back with a review next week. I mean, I'm Dr. Pepper through and through. I literally have an empty bottle here. Like that's just my stuff. But yeah, I don't know why that Friday's off. I have no ideas. Maybe I'll ask my wife who's in marketing, and she'll probably maybe agree with me. I don't know.
Maybe it's to make sure that Sunday nails. You know, if we got this 3-game series, if you're starting out with a 3-game series, make sure that there's some good action on Sunday. But it's not even a 3. We see the Rays on Sunday. We're opening with a 2-game start Thursday.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, we play White Sox Thursday, White Sox Saturday, and then do I have this wrong? Yeah, White Sox Sunday, Rays on
okay.
Tampa.
I was going to say, then that'd be really dumb, and then there's absolutely no reason for that. But
I don't know. Brewers are here. I think it's going to be a really fun season. I sent you a picture. I did lay a couple Mountain Dews, Dr. Peppers on the line. The over-under on the Brewers season was listed at 84.5. I think that's wildly disrespectful.
Yeah, it's been that way for years. They never understand. Vegas is usually pretty good about things, but just never the Brewers over-under. They hate them every single year. I mean, you look at the roster on paper, I guess, but whatever.
When do you think the last time, I'm looking at it now, when do you think the last year was that we won less than 84 games?
2016.
It was 2016. Mm-hmm. I knew you had it. But since then, 86, 96, 89, 95, 86, 92, 93, 97, with the best farm system in baseball and a whole lot of young studs, and 92, 93, 97, and Vegas says, I think it's Chicago's year.
Yeah, 84 wins. Even if it is Chicago's year, like they don't play all of their games against Chicago. they play 162 of them. They're probably going to squeak out more than 84. So you guys know I'm getting a little bit into investing. I think this is one of the most surefire investments you could probably make. Like just roll it over every single year like a 401k, man. I don't know why not. Like, should I talk to my employer and say, hey, could we get the 401k price match to go straight to the Brewers over under and we hammer that? Because I think that would be more efficient than what we're currently doing. But yeah, it's disrespectful. They continue to do it. The major networks are still gonna refuse to talk about Milwaukee. They are a little bit more now. I feel like when I randomly turn it on, they're talking a little bit of Brewers. At least on MLB Network, maybe not so much ESPN, where that's just talking about Shohei Ohtani or Aaron Judge, and that's all that they do. But I don't know. Who
do you think plays more this year, Brandon Lockridge or Garrett Mitchell? Because Lockridge was the first. He's the first sub that came in. I think Murph really likes him. Saw a little pop out of him in spring. You think Lockridge is outfielder number 5 if Perkins is 4?
Yeah.
Well, or is Lockridge 4?
So I think Garrett Mitchell is going to stay ahead of him until he inevitably gets hurt. But it's so hard to imagine that Garrett Mitchell is going to play more games than anybody because we haven't seen him do that in his first 4 years in Major League Baseball. So until he proves me wrong, I'm going to say that it's Brandon Lockridge just by flipping a coin. And the coin is very heavily sided towards Garrett Mitchell's probably going to get hurt in May. So that's probably what's going to happen. And even at that, I need to see a lot of improvements from Mitchell. There's been a lot of swing and miss. His spring training did not go well. You saw even the struggles last year when he played his 20 however many games. but it was not good offensive production. Of course, the defense and the speed's always going to be there, but I need to see more of an everyday improvement before I really start to believe once again in Garrett Mitchell. Of course, the ceiling is still there. There's a superstar inside there, but there's a lot to unlock before we get to that point. And right now, Lockridge and the spring that he had and what he's been showing offensively, and the speed and defense is always going to be there too. I'm probably going to bet on that guy.
Him and Hamilton, those two can both scoot, Cody.
Yeah.
I feel good about a grounder to shortstop with either one of those guys at the plate. I mean, and that's Murph ball. It's pressure. It's just pressure. And we saw it happen. Was it I think it was the Dodgers or the series before the Dodgers. They had a all-star second baseman. I think he made 2 errors in the same game, and he's a guy who hadn't had errors basically all season long. And simple grounders, just because this team is coming for you. Everybody's fast. The guy behind you can put a bat on a ball, and it's just tagging 14 on day one.
Yeah. I mean, I think
This
that
is
was
electric.
Hey, I'm sorry about how we started last year. You remember that series?
Oh, yeah. I'm trying not to, but
I think that's what they're doing. They're trying to make us not remember how we started the year last year by giving us this little gift wrap that, hey, here's a 14-2 victory after we looked like we were a minor league baseball team for the first 5 games of the season last year.
I'll take a matchup with the White Sox to open the season any year.
Yeah, over the Yankees in New York. Yeah, absolutely. Much nicer.
No,
and you're at home.
No front row Amy yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Life gets tough sometimes.
Amy, if you're out there, we need you, babe. We need you.
Gas is expensive.
Amy, I'll cover your gas.
Sam's got front row Amy's gas. Put that in writing on the contract. All right, I want to do a little bit of Packers. Just how important was it that Green Bay went out and got Javon Hargrave in free agency?
Not 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10, borderline 10, only because I'm not going to give it a 10 because there's still plenty of time to make a move before the season starts. But we needed a body up front. We needed somebody big, especially after trading, getting rid of Sorrell. Was it?
Wooden.
Yep. After getting rid of him, there was just a lack of bodies up there. And that's the most important thing of a defensive line is having those just big boys up front. You don't need to be a stud. You just got to take up space. And we ended up going to get a stud. And just having Minnesota fans be, tell me, hey, you got a guy. If he can put it together, if he's going to care, then you certainly got a guy. And we needed some bodies, and we got a really good one. It absolutely needed to happen.
You see more Vikings fans out in the wild than I do, but they were telling you that he's a dude?
Yeah, Tristan Rolfs, namely lifelong Vikings fan, was not happy that we got him. I
like that. Rolfs is genuinely a reputable source when we talk about these things. He knows when a guy stinks. I know that. So if he thinks Hargrave's a good move, then I think that's the only answer that we need. But, yeah, they needed somebody. They still need people in the middle of that defensive line. They got to get your run stuffer. So Hargrave is going to help on the run side, but he's not going to be your nose tackle, hand in the dirt, just get double-teamed, essentially. He's more of your speed rush defensive tackle, which is absolutely nice to have and a heck of a lot better than what Green Bay was going to run out there instead of him. But there's still a need for what they were hoping Nazir Stackhouse could bring last year, because he was the guy that got those snaps, and they were really bad. There was no production there from Stackhouse. They're going to need to find an answer, as well as cornerback, I think, in the draft as well, which will bring me to my next point with the draft coming up April 23rd, 25th. Of course, no first-round pick. What do you think the position spread is going to be for the draft coming up? I know that can be a big question, a little bit loaded with Gutekunst trying to go best player available all the time, but I want to hear your thoughts.
If we have 7 picks, I would hope. I'll give you the prediction. I bet we go 2 DBs, two defensive linemen or defensive lineman edge, somebody two up front, two DBs, an offensive lineman, a running back, and a quarterback. Just because Packers love drafting a late round quarterback.
They need one.
Yeah.
And right now it's Desmond Ridder, and like that can be fine, but it can be a lot better.
I also wouldn't hate seeing an old guy. I know Flacco just signed with the Bengals. I think that could be beneficial as well.
Flacco's still signing contracts, man.
Yeah, Carson Wentz just signed a year in Minnesota too.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't mind having an old guy. I think just having quarterbacks in the room is always good, and I know the Packers agree with me.
Yeah. Kyle McCord in that room too. Maybe he's a stud. I hear from Clemson people that he's the guy. He broke their record. He broke Deshaun Watson's record. So it means he's better than Deshaun Watson, hopefully on the field and in the massage room. Moving on, cheese grater.
I don't know. He's putting up numbers out there. Let's get a couple graders for you. I got a couple over-unders. I actually got 4 of them here, just a couple little baseball over-unders. Last year, this should have been mentioned when we were talking Brewers, but last year was Yelly's second season ever when he hit over 100 RBIs. I thought that was kind of shocking. He put together a pretty healthy season last year. 12th in MVP voting. I know that's not like top 5 or anything, but like got a couple votes out there. Over-under 100 RBIs for Christian Yelich.
Under. Math tells me. Even in his MVP 2018 season, he only had 97 RBI. I remember that. And they're hard to get to, but this is a really good team too, which can most certainly help you. But if I were to place a bet and put money on it, it's so hard to bet that anybody gets over 100 RBI if they're not hitting 35 plus home runs. And I think you saw the max power from Yelich last year. Yes, it was 29 home runs, but a lot of those were just squeaked over the fence. I don't know if he's a 30 home run guy anymore, probably more around that 20 range, which if you're in that range, it's much more difficult to get over 100 RBIs. So I'm going to go under.
I think that's valid. I'd be with you. If I had to put any of my money on it, I would comfortably go over 90. But like you said, 100 is just a big number. I think we're going to have a lot of
difficult.
Numbers.
Yeah.
20 bombs from Sal.
Under.
Under, and he's starting on 162 base. You are not buying it.
No. I mean, he's just not big. Like his home runs last year, like the ball you saw him hit yesterday, that was as far as he's hitting a baseball. He smoked it over the right field wall, got to the middle of that second deck. That's going to be about it. You watch a lot. You look at his home run spreadsheet last year, a lot of them, like I said with Yelich, just squeaked over that wall. It's hard to imagine that all of those are going to keep being. And I mean, he had 12 last year. That's a long ways away from 20. So I'm gonna comfortably go under here. But please surprise me, both Yelich and Sal.
I'm a fan of that. I got one more quick one for you. How about over under 3 pitching all-stars?
Under. You got some high hopes here for your over.
Well, I'll give you the 2.5 line. I'll give you 2.5. I think Miz is getting votes.
Bullpen counts too, right?
Bullpen counts. I think Miz is getting votes. I think McGill's just going to rack up Uribe's going to rack up saves.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over then, because that's I have to go over. I think Uribe is a lock. I think he's got name recognition now, especially after the World Baseball Classic, which he actually didn't pitch all that great, but I think more people know who he is now. I mean, had the moment in the postseason last year, won the game against Chicago, and then Mizorowski, you would think just off of the fan vote, is going to be right there, and one other guy will find a way to at least be in conversation. So I'll say that. And then McGill, like you said, he'll probably rack up some saves or have very good numbers once again. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. We'll see you again next week, where we have a lot more baseball to talk about.